All right, what is up? We are live. A few things to cover here before we get going. First thing, the CW ratings are in, and despite a lot of people not being happy with the CW app, myself included, CW app did not work for me where I was at. But despite all of that, this article from the CW network, the way I found it via JSkeep, total viewership was up 93% in total viewers on this one, plus 76 in key demographics 18 to 49, and plus 47 in adults 25 to 54. So overall, it's been a great success for them, despite what a lot of people have been saying about it, myself included. So just imagine how much better it could have been if all of the stuff they rolled out had worked. Some regions, even though you had CW, the race wasn't on for different contractual reasons and things like that. And some regions, the app itself didn't work in those regions. So imagine when they get all those kinks worked out, how much better the CW is going to be, but already off to a great start. Of course, last year they had some weather and things like that, so it's not exactly apples to apples, but 93% increase, that's very impressive, regardless of any which way you look at it. So it looks like a great success for the CW overall from last season as far as Xfinity Series coverage goes. So hopefully they can keep this momentum going. Hopefully they can get the kinks worked out and figure out all of the things that they need to figure out as far as their coverage goes. And also shout out to Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman, Dylan Welch, and Kim Kuhn, as they all did a great job. Adam Alexander as well did a great job with the race analysis and play-by-play and pit reporters and all the things that the various people there covered that I mentioned. So yeah, that was a pretty cool deal. Another cool deal before I get into the Jeff Gordon Days of Thunder stuff that we need to talk about. Kyle Busch going to drive in the Truck Series once again. And once again, he is going to do that for Spire Motorsports. So a ton of wins. He's going to keep stacking those wins. Winningest driver, 63 wins in the Premier Division, but he's going to keep stacking those wins over there in the Truck Series as well. So we will see what comes of that, if he can get another win this year. But the race dates that he will be participating in Truck Series races, if you want to see Kyle Busch drive that Spire truck, are going to be May 23rd at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's also going to drive at North Wilkesboro on May 17th, Nashville on May 30th, and Watkins Glen August 8th. Crew chief is going to be Alan Hart in 2025 for Kyle Busch. So there you go. Look out for him. Mark those dates down if you want to see Kyle Busch go there and do his thing in the Truck Series, where he's just so far the best, the best that's ever done it in the Truck Series. There's just no doubt about that. Without question, unless you're a Ron Hornaday fan or something like that. And then the bigger story, the biggest story, which is going to lead into the poll question, Jeff Gordon. He wants the Days of Thunder. He wants Days of Thunder 2 to be made, and says he has talked with Tom Cruise about it. This from Kicking the Tires. The previous article. I'm sorry. Need to give Spire Motorsports was the previous press release that I was reading from, so I wanted to give credit to them for the Kyle Busch news. All right, this is from Kicking the Tires, where it says, I've absolutely talked to Tom about it. I want him to do the project. Gordon said, we want to be part of it if it were to happen. So there you go. Not only does he want Tom Cruise to do the project, but Jeff Gordon, Hendrick Motorsports, they want to be part of the project as well. For those that don't remember, Days of Thunder, when it came out, it was a huge hit. But he did go on further to say this, talking about Tom Cruise. He seems to like to tease it, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. If that doesn't happen, I feel pretty confident that there is a project out there that will get NASCAR back on the big screen. If not, just a really cool docuseries or something beyond even what we're already seeing right now. So Jeff Gordon seems to be wanting to make that push to get NASCAR on the big screen, get NASCAR out there in front of people. Because if you remember the Jeff Gordon era, the Dale Sr. era, in that time period, there were always other things that weren't necessarily NASCAR related that people were watching and doing that would bring people to the sport. Of course, Days of Thunder was a huge thing, but there were other movies there that have led people to the sport, and I've listed that as the poll question. Of the four movies here, what is your favorite NASCAR movie? Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights, Cars 1, or Stroke Race? This is one of those polls where I wish YouTube would give me more than four options to choose from, because there's so many good NASCAR themed or NASCAR related movies. But these are just the four that I'm going with here. And right now, one is running away with it, but we will see what happens as time goes on. But that is the rundown, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, the other piece of news that I wanted to get to. Fox has decided that for the rest of the season, as you saw in the Daytona 500, the commercials will continue to be side by side. You'll have the live action over here. You'll have the commercial over here. So as long as there's action on the track, Fox is going to do the side by side. So they have listened to the fans. So good for Fox. Good for them. They've listened to the fans. They've adjusted from last season, and they will continue to do what the fans asked for. So win for the fans. All right, let's jump into the chat and see what you guys want to talk about. I voted for Days of Thunder because it's hard not to like that movie. It had cars on the track when I was there, says Tim Race. So there you go. Tim Race was watching a race when they did the filming. The other cool thing about Days of Thunder, they actually had race cars that weren't getting NASCAR points, but the cars were driving in the field through the race. So that was pretty cool, to sort of a Steve McQueen type thing when he was filming Le Mans, whatever you want to call that movie. He did something similar. Let's be honest, most of us have complained about Daytona since the day they added the restrictor plate. Who knew we'd be pining for the days of Morgan McClure versus RCR versus Yates versus Roush? It is what it is. You know, yeah. What's that song? You don't know what you got till it's gone. The Counting Crows did a cover of it. I can't remember who did the original, but that was a song. It is a song. That is a song. Tim Race, what's up, my friend? Did you catch Ricky Stenhouse's interview after the wreck? Seems like Joey made the move too soon for Ricky's liking. Both drivers made moves that cost them the race. I saw where Ryan Blaney possibly was a little bit agitated, or whatever you want to call it, as well, at least according to the quote. Now, who knows when the quote was made? It's in print, so I'd like to see the actual quote when he's saying it, what he was talking about. But he was not happy with the 22 either from Radio Communications. But if it was from Radio Communications and not actual quote from a reporter, we know Blaney just says crazy stuff in the car, so I would chalk it up to that. Quattro, laughing my butt off. I literally brought up NASCAR movies last live. Look at me. I'm a time traveler, says Quattro. Quattro living in 2030 already, or further. We don't know. The time traveler, Quattro. In between the lanes, what's up, my friend? Good to see you on here. I voted for Talladega before I saw the cars option. Laughing my butt off, says Quattro. That's the risk you run when you just jump in there and vote for one. Got to read all the options. Got to look at all the options before you make your pick. But it's okay. Both movies are good. Both people. A lot of people enjoyed all those movies, I should say. What's up, PC Gone Rogue? Good to see you on here, my friend. Quattro, what's next? NASCAR is going to race on Spike TV. Stay with the big channels. The CW is hot booty, says Quattro. So he doesn't like the CW just as a channel, period. But it looks like they got like the big jump in viewership. That was interesting. So it's working for them somehow. They've got an audience somewhere. I couldn't watch it on my app. I had to sail the high seas to get a good view of it. Shout out to the flying one with the yellow and black stripes for hooking that up. Let's see. Say Kyle, let William Byron doubter apologies begin. I told y'all last week the 24 goes back to back. There you go. Say Kyle, what's up, my friend? You got a shout out, even though you couldn't make it. And I know you were getting a bunch of texts and stuff like that last live stream. Everybody was super stoked for you. Yeah, congratulations on William Byron getting the win. Speaking of wins, let's take a look at that NASCAR fantasy that Say Kyle helped us set up. And by helped us set up, he set it up because I didn't want to do it. So he took care of it for it. Chasin' Dubs leads the way with 172 points, 167 for me. I'm in second somehow. I don't know how those picks got me to second, but it is what it is. It's Daytona. The real season starts this weekend. Sinkonk Speedway Gal is in third at 166. Explanation Point is in fourth at 165. And Shake, I don't even know how to say that. Shake Joint. I'm going to go with Shaky Joint. Shaky Joints or Shaky JT 163. Seikau in sixth at 156. And a lot of people in this one. So, yeah, got up to 35 or 36 people in this one. So those are your top 6 or 8 or whatever. So shout out to all of them. And we'll see how it plays out going forward on that one. I got Kyle Busch winning both the truck and cup race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, says in between the lanes. That's probably not the worst pick of all time. They, of course, did the closest finish ever or whatever that was called. They did that during the Daytona week, so Speed Week. So that was a pretty cool little docu-series they did there. Do you really think Parker's appeal will get approved, says one wise guy? I hope so, man, because it just seems like every time he goes to Daytona and does good, something happens. So hopefully Parker can get that thing overturned. I was surprised with Jeff Gordon on his comment about Larson with the Daytona finish, says OJ and toothpaste. So yeah, that was the other. I did see that, not forgotten about it until right now. Good point, God. Thanks for bringing that up, OJ. So Jeff Gordon basically said, if I remember correctly, to some effect, I don't have the quote in front of me, so I'm going to paraphrase as best I remember it. That it's all in his head, referring to Kyle Larson making all the wrong moves at Daytona. And that's because Kyle Larson said, "Did you see that? I made all the wrong moves." And Jeff Gordon was just said, "Yeah, I saw that," and basically agreed, saying, "Yeah, you did make all the wrong moves," and that it's all in his head at this point as far as racing at Daytona. So I felt like that was interesting. I don't think it was like a negative thing. I think he was just saying, "Yeah, it is all in your head. You know, get over it, get past it. You know, whatever we got to do, because we know you can race well at these racetracks." So I think it was more of like he's trying to build him up, but you never know. You never know. The psychology in athletes and stuff like that. Very interesting stuff there. Timber saying, could KB help RCR's Xfinity program on intermediate and short tracks? He had a great feel for the solid rear axle cars. I'm sure he could help any car he jumps in. I'm pretty sure he could help. He's one of the best to ever do it. Rosie saying, hey, everyone, and happy Tuesday. What's up, Rosie? Always good to see you on here, my friend. Will the booth be at the track at Atlanta? As far as I know, I think they're taking the booth. I don't know about like Xfinity and trucks, because honestly, probably after Atlanta, I probably won't be able to keep up with that stuff anymore. But from what I understand, I think the booth should be traveling with the Cup Series every single weekend. I don't think they're going to be. I don't think the Cup Series will ever have a remote booth as far as that goes. Say, Kyle, the Talladega Nights shouldn't get any votes. They were laughing at us, not with us. That is a fair statement to make. Hey, that movie, every non-NASCAR fan thinking everyone who likes racing is some Ricky Bobby idiot. So yeah, there's two ways of looking at that, and that's the way I look at it too. But a lot of people enjoyed that movie, and a lot of people don't see it that way. It just depends on how you interpret it. If you watch Talladega Nights as an outsider and you think it's basically a documentary of NASCAR race fans, then I mean, that's definitely the way some people take it. So I mean, that's a fair thing. And some people just look at it as it's just a fun movie. Don't take it so hard. It's not a D. So I don't know. I personally, I mean, I don't want to affect the poll. So I'll let this run, and then I'll give my personal opinion. If you've been watching long enough, you know what I'm going to say anyway, but I'm trying not to affect the poll. I'm trying to let the poll play out, and I don't want to affect it. Rusty Beechwood, they should not make a 2. They should just have made a Top Gun 2. Tom Cruise is old and sucks and should be nowhere near if they mess up and decide to make one, says Rusty Beechwood. So before they made Top Gun 2, basically back in the day, a lot of people referred to Days of Thunder as Top Gun 2. So that kind of, a lot of people in the industry, I watched a bunch of documentaries about Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder, a lot of people behind the scenes were calling that Top Gun 2. So there you go. Days of Thunder was the original Top Gun 2. I'm not going to explain it and get into it because I'm not trying to get into like detailed movie talk, because I don't want to get sidetracked 14 minutes into the stream. But yeah, so that's what I'd always heard. I'm excited about the Cup race this weekend, but from from what I remember, the Trucks Xfinity races at Atlanta have been one of the worst races on the schedule for both series. So that's probably a fair statement. The trucks and the Xfinity cars don't take to the new Atlanta paved track as well as the new Cup car did. So it'll be interesting to see, with the track having some wear on it now, how it plays out. And the tire wear, of course, too. Kyle Busch was not happy with Logano, says OJ and Toothpaste. That's a fact. He basically said the fastest car was in a hurry to get to the scene of the wreck, and that was said it in a manner of which that was some shade being thrown. So he was not happy with him, and it is what it is. Daytona at this point is kind of like a short track. Everybody's going to have hurt feelings at the end of it, except for the driver that wins, and that's just the way it's going to be. So a lot of people blaming the 22, a lot of people blaming the 41, a lot of people blaming the 47. So it just pick your pick the driver you want to blame, and blame them. That's part of the sport. Cinderella, don't know what you got. Great tune. Don't know what you got till it's gone. Great tune, says Badlands Bandits. There you go. The original singer of that song, to our knowledge at least, Cinderella. And then it was covered by the Counting Crows. I think that was on the September or whatever. I think it was on the September album or whatever that album was called. Way back in the day. You can tell Ricky and Joey and Ricky are friends because neither really threw the other one under the bus. So Kyle Busch figured he would do it for him, says Dirty Death. So there you go. Kyle Busch weighing in and saying it was the 22's fault. Wish we could have a race where drivers decide what's on the hood, says Chris. That would be interesting. Sort of like NFL players, I guess they decide what's on their cleats. But I guess NASCAR, drivers decide what's on their helmet. So maybe that's where they get their creative inputs on the driving outfit, vehicle, wrap, design scheme, whatever. I don't know what to call it. Design package overall. Let's freaking go, BB, says Russell Dominguez. What's up, Russell? Good to see you on here. Let's freaking go, buddy. Let's not look at the standings, says Quacha. Don't worry, man. I'm not going to go all the way down. We're not going to talk about people that started off the season slow because there were so many wrecks. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm terrible right now at 135. So yeah, few people struggling. Don't worry. The real season starts at Atlanta. So there you go. We'll take a look at those in the pre-race on Sunday morning ish or Sunday afternoon for some people. What's up, T Van? Good to see you on here, my dude. Hopefully your neighbor gets everything sorted out over there. That was a situation you had going on over there the other day. I picked Days of Thunder, says Mike G. I think a lot of people are going to agree with you there, Mike G. Mark A. W for the Killer Bees. Mark A. W for the Killer Bees, says Brickyard Brickhead. Indeed, Killer Bees did their thing for sure. I had William Byron in my garage on fantasy. Don't remind me, says OJ and Toothpaste. Oh, OJ. Oh man, OJ, rough one, dude. Shout out to OJ. Appreciate you being on here, my dude. Thoughts and prayers to OJ. He had a little situation at work. So if you're into that thing, thoughts and prayers to OJ. I don't want to put his business on blast, but if he wants to put his business on blast, feel free to do it in the comments there. But keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I actually watched the lives. I watched the lives from Sunday and saw that. Shot a salute in the DMs. Appreciate you, say Kyle. I've been super busy, so I haven't been able to read all the comments and all the DMs and stuff like that. We got sort of a weather situation, so I've sort of been running like a chicken the first part of this week. But if the weather hits, I'll have plenty of free time. Hopefully, I'll have power and internet if it hits. But I'll have plenty of time to catch up on a lot of stuff. So let's look for the silver lining, no matter which way it breaks, I guess is the right way to say it. I agree with Talladega Nights comment. It's trash, and so is Will Ferrell. So Rusty Beachwood didn't like the movie or Will Ferrell. He's not a fan. Blaney has every right. A guy runs up front at Daytona and Dega every race, all race long, and gets taken out by some bonehead without fail. Yeah, Blaney, one of the best of his generation of this car that we've got now. Blaney, without question, has been one of the best with this particular package at drafting and super speedway tracks. So, and if he doesn't win, it's usually because you're right, he gets taken out. Or if he doesn't get a top 5, it's normally because he gets taken out. Oh my goodness, my leg itched there. Sorry about that. Does the fantasy league winner get a BB hat or something like that at the end of the year? I'll tell you what, we can make a hats and t-shirt combo. Like we can get that going. We'll figure it out. Uh, when the season ends, we'll definitely hook that up for sure. No need for part two. Movies these days are just not good, says Mike G. Uh, yeah, I don't know if movies are getting worse or I don't know. We're just getting older and we have higher standards because we've seen better movies and we all hold movies to a higher standard now because we've seen so many good ones. I don't know, but I don't get as much out of a lot of movies that I watch today like I used to. But it could be anything. Could be anything, really. Daytona needs to be 30 laps, 10 laps per stage. You will get the same ending as running 500 miles, says Mark Barnum. Uh, there is an argument to be made for that because they're doing so much fuel saving and things like that. But that's part of racing. Like if you have these really long movies, you got to have long movies. If you have these really long races, you guys have got me thinking about movies. I got to stop thinking about movies and think about racing here. But yeah, if you've got these really long races, no matter what, you're going to have some type of strategy. And a lot of times that strategy is going to be some type of fuel savings and stuff like that. So it sort of goes with the territory. I think what really hurts all this, though, is they've shortened it in an artificial way with the stage breaks. Now, I'm not saying you got to get rid of the stages, but let's get rid of the stage breaks. Like you run to a stage to get points, but you don't get a free caution there. So I think they could seriously make the races better without the stage breaks. But a lot of people don't think that. So it is what it is. There's pushback one way or the other. That's just my take on it. The Dale Earnhardt movie was pretty good, I thought, says Mike G. So he liked the old Dale Earnhardt movie. Was Byron good or was he damaging the front clip for was Byron, was that a goof from Byron or was he damaging the front clip for inspection? Only Jesus and only Jesus and Lord Byron know that. We don't have the audio like Chad Canals and Jimmy Johnson did back in the day when Jimmy Johnson backed it in the fence because Chad was like, back it into the fence. I need you to back it into the fence. So there you go. If you want to buy some merch, there is the merch link right there from One Wise Guy. Appreciate you there, Wise. Who got the point for the fastest lap? Tyler Reddick in the 45 got the point for the fastest lap, if I remember correctly. Understand how some fans feel about Talladega Nights, but it is funny when SVG moved the race full time in NASCAR. He couldn't believe how much the drivers' lifestyles was like the movies, says Dirty Death. So there you go. Every little bit of art and every what is it? Every joke has a little bit of truth to it. So maybe that's what he was sort of getting at. Reddit got that second Monster Beast. Still haven't tried that drink yet, says OJ and Toothpaste. I haven't either. So one thing, it's a monster, and my name is Kyle, so we're trying to save all the drywall in the house. So that's one issue. The other issue is it's got alcohol in it, and I don't know that I need caffeine and alcohol at the same time. So haven't tried that one yet. But if you've had the Nasty Beast, if you've put the Nasty Beast in your mouth, let us know down in the comments how it tasted. Oh God, all-time low for the channel. Sorry, but I had to say that joke. It was too good. Just couldn't let it go. Bobby Labonte used to have an NFL helmet design back in the day. Always thought those were cool. Says say Kyle. That was definitely like really cool back in the day. He would just have a different NFL helmet for whatever racetrack he went to. I agree with you. That was pretty cool. Dean. Maybe they bring that back with Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, I feel like he would do something like that. So I saw the Big Hat Byron on NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spade. Billy Big Hat back in the house. So he needs to bring the Big Hat back. Did you hear Dale Jr. this week complaining about the current super speedway racing in all three series? In your opinion, when was the style of racing at its best? Super speedway racing was its best. I would say 92 to somewhere in the 80s to probably like around whenever Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt, the interstate batteries, whatever race Dale Jarrett was at 92 or 93, somewhere in there, 91, 92 or 93, somewhere in that quadrant. Around that time, I feel like drafting was really good. It was restrictor plate racing was real. That was good stuff. And then you had I like the tandems. A lot of people hated the tandems. I like the tandem racing. So I thought that was good. So one of those two I thought were pretty good, but ask 100 people and you might get 100 different opinions. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. I had a fifth choice for the poll. Last American Hero with Jeff Bridges. I did want to put that one in there. I did. And Six Pack with Kenny Rogers. I wanted to put that one in there. There's a bunch of them I wanted to put in there. If we're being totally honest, White is it White Lightning with Richard Pryor, where he does the Wendell Scott movie. I wanted to put that one in. There's a bunch of. I wish, and we've done it before. We've done a vote off as to who wins. I can't remember who won back in the day. I want to say it was probably Days of Thunder. Though I watched the Biff before your annual live stream, and he talked about working with Cletus and the 500 in general. It says in between the lanes. So yeah, Cletus, he's gotten a lot of traction, a lot of coverage. The way it's going for him with his deal, I feel like probably you're going to see a lot more of him in the future. A lot of people liking that character and that storyline there. And as is life, there's pushback. A lot of people don't like it too. So but I think overwhelmingly more people like it than don't like it. I can say that from what I've seen, comments and reaction wise. Rusty Beechwood, what's up, my man? Let's see. Ron Russell, what's up, buddy? BB, good to hear from you again. I question you for the for you to chew on a little. What do you think a charter is worth today? Asking because Junior thinks 40 to 50 million. Not sure though because NASCAR devalued it. It's really going to depend on the outcome of Denny Hamlin's trial or 2311 and Front Row Motorsports trial. Denny Hamlin's trial, Front Row Motorsports and Denny Hamlin's lawsuit against NASCAR. 40 million feels about right though. 50 million feels about right because I think they're only going to go up even no matter what happens in that case. I think they're only going to go up. So yeah, I think they're going up. So I would say that's probably he would know more than anybody. I would say so. I feel like that's pretty accurate. But the truth is, it's like anything. The value of it is whatever somebody will pay for it. So if you have a classic car, you understand that well. The value of that car is how much somebody will pay for it to separate you from it. Fun fact: William Byron is 1-0 when he meets me the week of the race. Not superstitious, but I might kind of be a big deal. So say Kyle, kind of a big deal. He met off fast Willie B, and that was a pretty cool deal. So you got to go meet him. Only one thing to do now, my friend. You got to drive down to Atlanta, and you got to keep it going. You just got to keep it going. I'm just messing with you. You drive enough. So we're talking about racing. Says in between the lanes. Is it too late? And I don't mind talking about movies. I like movies. So I get so sidetracked thinking about movies sometimes. We talking about racing. Says in between the lanes. Is it too late to get in on fantasy? Been offline for a while. First time hearing about it. Says Rusty Beechwood. I don't know if it's still open or not. If you want to join, you can definitely certainly try. If somebody wants to throw the link down there to let him see if he can try, I think it should still be open. One throwaway race isn't going to hurt you. I've seen people come back from a lot bigger deficits. So if you want to jump in there. Feel free. If not, there's always next season, and next season I will promote it better than I did this year. Had some good laughs behind the scenes at my lack of being able to promote things because I'm just not used to promoting things. I'm not good for sponsors. I'm not good at promoting stuff. So apologies, even my own stuff. I see the Budweiser number 8 late model is now in stock. Yeah, pretty sweet die cast. If you want to get it, I would get it pretty soon because I'm fairly sure they're going to sell out. Dirty Def, I'm saying early 2000s, says T-Van for the drafting is what T-Van's talking about. Good 500 for Legacy. Yeah, all the cars in the top 15. All three cars in the top 15. I don't know if they've ever done that before, but I know last year they definitely were far away from it. So good forward momentum for them thus far in the season. Justin Marks said on Dave Moody's show yesterday after reviewing the weekend with Elio going forward, it doesn't make sense to try to do this again with another driver at Daytona. Said it's too hard. So there you go. Justin Marks thinking it's too hard. I think he would change his mind if he had a veteran driver that's really good at these tracks, though. But we'll see. Plenty of time. Missing one race won't put you out of it, says Say Kyle. So there you go. He is the expert. And I think if Say Kyle says plenty of time, go ahead and join up because he's got that thing set up. He can open it up on the back end if it's already closed out. So go ahead and join somewhere down below. Somebody will put the link. I've got faith. Let's see. I hoped that doing away, or do I have the link here? Maybe I got the link here. I can try it. I can do it. I believe in myself. Success. I have posted the link. Some way through that link, you will be able to join us. Join us. The little Martian men from Toy Story. Join us. Let's see. Favorite movie is Redline 7000, says Perry Earl. So favorite racing movie would not be any of these movies I've listed. I'm just going on NASCAR movies. But yeah, Redline 7000. I'll put that in the queue as to something I need to watch here. I've never seen that one before. Creative handwriting there. Hopefully, I'll be able to read it later. The Monster Beast is okay, says Joseph Wooten. So, the Nasty Beast monster is pretty good, according to Joseph Wooten. I hope that doing away with stage cautions would diversify strategy and create some separation in the field, specifically at super speedways and road courses. I know they cried about it because Michael McDowell ran away with the one road course race, but do enough road course races, I think you would see a different situation play out. Jesse Daly, have you had any chance to listen to Denny's podcast? I thought there was a ton of truth to what he said. I didn't think he was complaining. I thought he was just being real. I did see some of the quotes, but I haven't seen the full thing yet. And just the title of what he was talking about to one of the clips, dead on, that he said it's not good racing anymore. Paraphrasing, because he used a non YouTube friendly word. He doesn't have to worry about it though, because he's big money on his deal. Plenty of sponsors for him, and good for him. I'm not looking for sponsors. I'm just I like to poke and prod. My man Brewster Baker was a wheelman and also had a heck of a pit crew, says Dirty Diff. Yo, Brewster, man, 6-pack, get it going. Thanks, T Van, says OJ and Toothpaste Dodge back in trucks for sure. That's the big rumor. The catch fence. And I can't remember off the top of Chris Knight. Chris Knight, I think, was the author there that put his name to it. He said it's his sources say it's going to be Dodge. So look for Dodge coming back to the Truck Series, and what team goes with them is going to be interesting. Kyle's in drywall. My girlfriend's name is Kylie. The drywall has nightmares. Says say Kyle. So there you go. You got two Kyles in the same place at the same time. The drywall is not safe, my friend. Let's see. Bruce Garvey, F1 got rid of the point for fastest lap because team manipulation. Oh, that's all right. NASCAR likes team manipulation, says Bruce Garvey. Agree, Dirty Death. Love that movie. Amber Baclion got shunned off of social media. I understand and even agree with most everyone's opinion on the talent of women in racing, but I feel bad for her, says TJ Morshed. I haven't seen anything about that. I heard some people, like anything official. I've heard some people sort of talking about it, but I didn't pick up on what they were putting down. So I guess I'll have to investigate that and see what you're talking about there. I'm glad Crash Tona is over. On to Atlanta, NASCAR's most thrilling track for fans, in my opinion, of course, says Tommy Dubs. So yeah, a race is like a super speedway, but you got less time to think about it. You're still going like 186 or 200 or whatever they're going nowadays, but you don't have that as long a straightaway to think about. I'm not going to Atlanta, but I will be at the Vegas race, says Say Kyle. So there you go. We will test it in Vegas. We will see if William, you know what? Thanks for the fantasy update there. I will be starting William Byron in Vegas as soon as you tell me you've met him. I do believe in luck. So divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. When is the new IROC happening? Will it include super speedways, says Chris? I don't know. Ray Evernham's been super non-committal about saying anything about it. So I don't know exactly what's going to go on with that. Let's see. And Denny Hamlin on trial, VB predicting the future, says Joseph Wooten. Yeah, I totally said that wrong. So take my legal advice for what it's worth. Stay. I try to stay as far away from those situations as I can. Not always successful. Anyway, I digress. Dale Jr. also said he's willing to put in about $10 million of his own money and make about 20% stake and let him and Kelly and their company and their company run the company the same way that they do now. I think that's probably the best bet. For sure. And I'm glad that he's taken that approach instead of trying to own the whole thing outright. I think it just makes more sense for him to go about it that way. Sorry, BB. Justin Marks was talking about drivers outside of NASCAR like Elio. I got you. Okay, I got you. I didn't know exactly what you were talking about there. So sorry. Let's clean that up. So he was talking about non-drivers. I disagree with that though, because I feel like there's a handful. I can just name them off right now. Scott McLaughlin. I feel like he would be fine at Daytona. Scott Dixon. I feel like he would be fine at Daytona. I feel like there's a handful of guys that you could put them in a car at Daytona after getting some ARCA practice. I feel like they would be okay for sure. So now that I know what you're talking about, that is officially final answer. Lock it in, Regis. On that one, Regis there used to be a show. Who wants to be a millionaire? Regis would lock in the votes. That was a long time ago. I appreciate it, wise guy. Yeah, it's wide open. Says say Kyle. Talking about the fantasy league. So there you go. Fantasy league is still open if you want to join it. Both of those links will work. My link and the one that wise guy posted as well. Shout out to Wise Guy, always on it. BB, which Cup driver would you say is going to feel being on the hot seat first this season? Suarez is the lowest hanging fruit right now. Yeah, a lot of people, and I feel like it's fair speculation. A lot of people, because obviously Pitbull was a big believer in Daniel Suarez. Pitbull leaving Trackhouse, a lot of people feel like is just the writing on the wall that Daniel Suarez won't be there next year, regardless of what happens. So, hopefully Suarez has a good season. I don't think even if he gets moved on from Trackhouse, I feel like Suarez will have a ride. He's too good of a driver not to. I love the 1070s drafting. 1970s drafting was funny watching cars go slower and slower. Nobody wanted to lead the last lap, says Bruce Garvey. I do kind of wish we'd stop putting all these legends from other forms of motorsports in the Daytona 500 cars, but the event is obviously something they all want to do more than anything else, says TJ. Yeah, it's two ways of looking at it. Like you don't want them to wreck out your favorite driver, but also it's really cool to have him in the race. I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way about Kyle Larson at the Indy 500, but I feel like overall it's a good thing. You just hoping that they don't wreck your guy. Never invited anyone to the league before the race, says Blockbuster. Yeah, I did. I put it, you can, and I've got proof of it. I put a post up on YouTube. There's and at least 30 something people saw it. So I did put it out there at one point. Team announcement on Sunday pre-race Cup. Srigley suspects it's Thor Sport to Ram. Thor Sport would be a huge pickup there. There's no password for joining the league. It's an open league. Just jump in. So if anybody wants to jump in, come on and jump in. Ross really needs to bounce back this week because right now he is 30th in points. He and Suarez usually run good at Atlanta, but crazy as it sounds, he can't afford to get in a big hole the first 2 weeks, says Dirty Def. Chris Knight was the actor who played Peter Brady on the Brady Bunch, says Jamie Schweitzer. On ratings for Fox broadcast, the Daytona ARCA race, Dodge doesn't make trucks, only cars. The Ram brand is the truck division of Stellantis, says Casey. It is, but people are still going to call it Dodge. Let's see, 70s drafting up until the mid 90s, cars could pass and maneuver before it was this two-line draft expectancy, says Rusty Beechwood. Currently 12th on the fantasy league. Truex pick messed him up this week, says Enzo. Not a bad pick though. So I mean, he had a good car. He just got caught up in other stuff in other people's, and it also saved you a start for another driver you might have to use somewhere else. So I understand the logic. Good logic, just didn't pan out. Where might Suarez land if ejected from Trackhouse? That's a good question. A long season. We got 30 some races to figure that one out if it happens. 35 people join the league, says one wise guy. I agree. The legends earn it. In AJ Foyt had to. Larson has to qualify at Indy. You're welcome to be here. Make the time to stay, says Rusty. Travis Pastrana definitely had a lot more experience in stock cars, but I think he did a good job last year in the Daytona 500. Yeah, and I need to watch a video because I saw a video titled Travis Pastrana will never race a super speedway race again. Here's why, and stuff like that. So I definitely need to check that one out and see what he had to say about it. Elio had run the ARCA race, had to run the ARCA race to be allowed to run in Cup, but he did the dual race before the ARCA race. Okay, that makes sense. Says like this, like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. The band that originally played the song was Cinderella, says Louis LePage. I see no problem with the other drivers coming in the race if they earn their spot and not give it to them like a participation trophy. Yeah, so that's my issue with it. Just period. Even with charters, I feel like for the Daytona 500, everybody should have to earn their spot. Period. End of discussion. Where are you at on the movie Driven with Sylvester Stallone? I like it, even though I admit it is ridiculous. So it's one of those things. If you want to watch it for pure entertainment, it's awesome. But if you're going to sit there and watch it and be like, that would never happen in real life, the physics don't line up and all that stuff, it just depends on how you want to watch it. If you can just sit back and watch it for entertainment, I think it's a fine movie. Really, honestly, the same thing with Days of Thunder. A lot of stuff in Days of Thunder was pretty unbelievable. We'll put it that way. So, just depends on how you want to watch it. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. A lot of people are like, that's the worst movie ever made. I didn't really see it that way. I thought Driven was pretty decent. I don't remember who said it, but Suarez taking over the 10 car after Ty Dillon finishes his scheduled gap year makes a ton of sense. Yeah, but it just depends. What if Ty Dillon has a crazy good season? You never know. Let's see. Ram to the Craftsman Truck Series in 2026, Dodge the Cup in 2028, says Casey. That would I think Ram to Cup. I mean Ram to the Truck Series or Dodge the Truck Series isn't happening until 2028. So the Truck Series would be 2028 from a headline that I read. I didn't read the full article to be fair, but I think they're not going to be in the Truck Series till 2028 possibly. So it might be a more extended timeline on getting to the Cup Series. Dale Sr. said they ruined NASCAR Winston Cup racing in his 2000 Daytona post-race interview. There you go. He didn't like plate racing either. I love seeing other drivers from other series come and try the sport. I'm all for it, says T-Van. Blockbuster said, no, you didn't. I should get a waiver. So I don't know. I don't know how we work that, but look, I've had seasons where I started with basically 0 points. You can make it up. It is possible. But it's up to you. It's up to you. You can either do it this year or you can wait till next year. But it is open to all who want to jump in there. It's for fun. It's all good. It's not the end of the world. We don't start evaluating where drivers and teams are until the All-Star break this year. It's exactly 1/3 through the season. Says Thunder Strikes. Would Dodge be Earnhardt's opportunity to get in the Cup? I know he is a diehard Chevy, says Delmar Kaufman. I don't see Earnhardt going Dodge there. I don't see RCR going Dodge. I don't see Hendrick going Dodge. I think if you're Dodge, you've got people to select from like Legacy, Trackhouse, Spire, Penske possibly, but I feel like Penske's locked in with Ford. RFK is obviously locked in with Ford. Joe Gibbs Racing obviously locked in with Toyota. 2311 is a wild card. Believe it or not, I could see them if you gave them the right situation, they might consider switching, but I doubt they leave Toyota with the Joe Gibbs Racing Alliance there. But they do some wild stuff from time to time, so I wouldn't totally put it out there. 47 car, that's up for grabs. So if you wanted to have the 47 car, gave them a good enough deal to be like a tier one team, I feel like they would join for sure. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. Bring back Dodge, says OJ and Toothpaste. I think I missed a few. Let me jump up here. That would never happen in real life. Every pew pew guy watching any action movie says, "Say Kyle." That's a fact. That's a fact. And then there's oh man, watching those type of movies with oh, that word is so tricky on YouTube. YouTube is weird about it. Watching those movies with squirt pistol super soakers, watching those movies with super soakers that don't shoot water is a real experience because they talk about trigger control. They talk about that's not how you do this, that's not how you do that. There were too many rounds in that gun, blah 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 blah. It really is it's an experience. I'll put it to you that way. Days of Thunder was ridiculous with all the beating and banging. It was so overdone until you watch this year's Daytona 500. Did Kurt Busch ever win in the 500? Says T-Van. 2017, Kurt Busch won, says TJ Moorshed. Thor would be a huge loss for Ford. However, they still have Front Row Motorsports. Indeed. If it would be a huge loss. Thor Sport is they're a institution. That's the word I was looking for. They're an institution as far as the truck series goes. 2017, says OJ and Toothpaste. Tom Cruise saw Priest's 3 wrecks, and he's been taking notes. Will T-bone a car at Dega? Will the nose flip and then barrel roll in the same wrecks as say Kyle? For sure. Bad memory. Larson in the 42 was leading with 1 lap to go and ran out of fuel, and Chase Elliott in the 24, says OJ and Toothpaste. Sounds like Scott Tinnerman, says one wise guy. It seems like BB would have been in on a Days of Thunder esque winning celebration that may or may not have involved a call girl dressed as a cop. Hey, Timber Race, taking it down the road there. Uh, oh, what's that move? We're not gonna go that route. We're gonna be adults. We're gonna keep it safe here. I could see the 47 team selling to Nice Motorsport or something. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things they could do for sure. I was disappointed we got no trailer for the NASCAR game. I'm itching for a release date. It'll be yeah. They've talked about it, but then they haven't really hyped it up since then. Wireless hole punching device. There you go. Wireless hole punching device. Thank you, say Kyle. That's a good one. Gonna jot that down. The old wireless hole punch. That'll be a good one. Appreciate you. Good looking out, my dude. Did you catch any of the SNL 50-year anniversary show? We had some funny sketches on it. Says Dirty Duff. I've seen. My buddy sent me the Eddie Murphy one. Uh, which parts of that one can I say? Where he's got like half of his hair in cornrows and half of his hair is not, and he says I don't do anything halfway. So I've seen that skit. I saw the skit where Kate McKinnon goes in between Woody Harrelson's legs. That was interesting. So I've seen a few clips, but I haven't seen any of the full versions of the shows just yet. I do like Saturday Night Live. I have two box sets. I have the original first season on like a box set of that. I think I've got the second season as well. But yeah, so growing up, huge. I was a huge Saturday Night Live fan. I haven't really watched it since oh god, like the Lazy Sunday, basically Andy Samberg era. I kind of got out of watching it after that for various reasons, some of which I didn't have reliable TV. It is what it is. Anyway, moving right along. Let's see. I watched a documentary on Halo video game today. Super crazy how they made it back in the late 90s and released it on Xbox in 2001. Says OJ and Toothpaste. I haven't seen that yet, but I'll have to go check it out. My buddies were Halo fanatics for sure. I love that game, says OJ and Toothpaste. Didn't they just I saw my buddy put something about Halo 3 when they re-released it to people playing it for the first time. It just shows how the globe lit up with Halo players. Pretty neat deal. Let's see if Hendrick. It was just like a Instagram reel or something like that. If Hendrick goes to Dodge, then that would mean Chevy is leaving NASCAR. Is the only way that's happening, says Joseph Wooten. I agree. Thor is the Hendrick of trucks for sure. Tricon is JGR. That's a pretty good analogy. I do agree with that. 70s one hit band Ram Jam and their back Black Betty Bam Balam. Should be used for Ram ads. Oh, that's a good point. Once they are back in the Craftsman Truck Series, showing a black Ram pickup being driven, that would be pretty cool. Did you see where Eric Almirola is getting back with 9 races for Joe Gibbs Racing and Xfinity this year? Oh, that's cool. So despite some tensions allegedly with Bubba Wallace last season, he's going to be back at JGR with Casey Wayne at the wheel, says Rusty Beechwood. Say Kyle, appreciate you as well, my friend. All this talk about Dodge, but is this Cadillac rumor still a thing too? Cadillac's not coming to the Cup Series. I don't know why people keep chasing that one, and it has nothing to do with whether it would be a good idea or a bad idea. Cadillac doesn't want to race against Fords and get beat by Fords and Toyotas when they're trying to sell you in a market that is like Lexus and Acura. Mercedes, BMW, they're trying to sell in that market. If they're getting beat by Toyotas and Fords, it doesn't look good for them. So they're not going to come to NASCAR. And that's a hill that I'm going to die on. Like you just, in my opinion, you got to understand marketing to understand like where I'm coming from with that. So that's why I think Cadillac to the Cup Series will never happen. Even though it's happened before in the past, I understand that it won't happen in modern day as long as they want to sell Cadillacs in that upper market where you got Mercedes and BMWs. So I would say with 99% fullness of my heart, Cadillac is not coming to the Cup Series. I don't know where that rumor got started. Let's see. Rusty Beechwood or Ward. Yeah, Eric ran 14 races for them last year. So a slight step back, says Jesse Daly. Yeah, when he's talking about the Nutty Professor, Adam Sandler song is sad that he did that for the cast and the crew. Says Dirty Duff. I just saw Chris Wright flying down I-95. He still hasn't stopped yet. He's out of brakes. He doesn't have brakes. The spotter hasn't told him to brake yet. So yeah, that was a interesting situation there from Chris Wright. If you or a friend have been wrecked by Chris Wright, I'm just playing. That was on the side of somebody's car though back in the day. If Ram gets back into the truck series, guess they'll be visiting the Petty brothers for Mopar parts and pieces. We will see. We will see. Uh, Andy Samberg did a song on their BB's biggest laugh of the show for me. The content of the songs he comes up with are incredible. Yeah, he's got a really good song with Justin Timberlake, but can't say it. Just can't say it in a box. Saw on Twitter there is a view of Wright getting shoved off the racing line and into the pit road apron. Seems like he wasn't over his skis as bad as he's being made out to be there, says Say Kyle. I haven't watched it like in significant detail. I just saw it. Sort of I guess I caught the aftermath, but it was a bad deal. Bad deal. But as a true race car professional, though, he blamed it on the spotter, and for that, crisp high five. It's never the driver's fault. Did anyone play Left 4 Dead game back in the day? Left 4 Dead was a good one. That's a good one. Red Dead Redemption. A lot of people, the very first one, a lot of people got sucked into that. The first two or three Forzas were really, really good, and then they sort of lost their way in some of the middle Forzas. But the original Forzas were really, really good. They competed highly with Gran Turismo at the time, and in my opinion, at one point had surpassed Gran Turismo. You think Gregson can pull a win this season? Oh yeah, he's definitely on my radar to get a win this season. Ty Gibbs on that same radar. Josh Berry, a lot of guys I feel like will get a ton of. Will have a really good chance of getting their first win in the Cup Series. Team Penske and Ryan Blaney look like they're the best team right now for sure. Penske has been on fire. All of Team Penske across all of motorsports has just been on fire here recently. When you look at their performance since Homestead last year, Phoenix Clash, Daytona, he's had a fast car. Cadillac spending all the racing money on F1 and IMSA. Don't forget IMSA. They want to get that. They want to get another Daytona 24 hours, and they definitely want to get a Le Mans for the old Cadillacs over there. That's kind of what they're focused on. They're trying to build that international brand for Cadillac, so it doesn't really, from their marketing perspective, it doesn't make sense to race in NASCAR because they want an international market. Because right now, if you ask anybody overseas about a Cadillac, they'll laugh at you and say those cars suck and they don't like them. So they're trying to build the Cadillac brand overseas, and good luck with that. Because every person I've talked to that doesn't live in the United States, they don't necessarily like Cadillacs, and that's just putting it nicely. So it is what it is. The Sandberg Timberlake trilogy is the gold standard. Says Say Kyle. Days of Thunder 2 starring Herbie and Lightning McQueen, says Chris. Hey, there you go. Bring Herbie into the mix. That would be pretty cool. Disney does own the rights to that, so that would be maybe we see that Easter egg in there, just like you see the Pizza Planet truck in just about every Pixar movie. That we need a Herbie the Love Bug Easter egg if it's not already been done. Ryan C gets 3 wins this year. Says like dislike. I think Petty needs to get back in the sport with a Dodge truck and with Moffitt, which he could do because he's only a figurehead for Legacy Motor Club. So he is, as far as that goes, a free agent. He can do what he wants. Did you see where Justin Allgaier is driving the Protect Your Melon car this week associated with Ross Chastain? I didn't know Justin Allgaier was going to drive it, but it is Ross Chastain's deal, so that's pretty cool. BB, do you remember Richard Petty getting in trouble with the law for bump drafting on I-40 while he was running for office, by the way? And it cost him his political career for telling somebody to get out of his way, essentially, on I-40. I do remember that. Good pickup there. Logano and Blady lead the dogs for Ford right now, says one wise guy. They are, and not a lot of people talking about it, but Austin Cindric, he's turned a corner, man. I tried to tell y'all, man, don't sleep on Cindric. The dude has put his time in, and like I said in the Xfinity series, took him 2 or 3 years Xfinity. 2 or 3 years now in Cup, and look, he's turned the corner. He's doing his thing out there, showing you what he can do, what he's about. How about the Subaru Brat pickup when it comes to the Truck Series 2? That would be cool. My name is Earl. That's all. Put the Joy paint scheme on it. The USA flag Subaru Brat with the jump seats in the back, and that's all you need. I want. Now that you said that, I want it. I want it in the Truck Series or the Subaru Baja. I will accept either one. But we need a USA flag Subaru in the Truck Series now. TJ Moorshed, you'd have to bring back that Hyundai truck in too. Says, what is that thing? The Santa Cruz or something like? I don't know. I don't know. I forget what the name of that one is. Let's see. NASCAR and Forza multiplayer is fun as heck. Says Enzo. I can't say your last name. I'm just gonna go with Enzo. I can say that one because that's like my favorite Ferrari of all time. Of all time, I still want that car. One day, I will never get it. One day, I will never get it for sure. We need a behind the music style Herbie, where Herbie is in rough shape after years of hanging with Lindsay Lohan. Says, say Kyle, that would be cool. That would be interesting. That'd be some fan fiction for sure. What's up, Lovey? Good to see you on here. I hope I'm wrong, but I highly doubt we will ever see another Days of Thunder, at least with Tom Cruise in it. I'm with you. Unless Tom Cruise is passing the torch and he's taking over Harry Hyde's deal as being a crew chief or something like that, maybe then you see it, or maybe Tom Cruise becomes the team owner or something like that. But he won't be the driver. I agree with you on as far as that goes. He won't be the main star of it. He'll just be a character in it. Cindric and Briscoe are on the rise too, says Kyle. I agree. Briscoe's going to be tough this year for sure. I fully expect Cindric to be in contention for super speedways, but I'm not picking him on any other type track. Says Kyle. I would throw road courses in there as well, but he's starting to pick it up everywhere for sure. Santa Cruz. So it is the Santa Cruz. I forget. I don't know what I called it, but Santa Cruz works. Let's see. Agreed. Cindric hit the high, hit the low, stayed at it, and is looking good. Says Rusty Beechwood. Hello, one wise guy and in between the lanes, says Lovey. You're right, BB. Cindric is lining up to have a good start. Team Penske has the fastest cars right now. Yeah, Team Penske put the work in, and they're doing it. They're doing it as good as anybody, or better than everybody right now, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, just call me Enzo. Thanks for reading my chats. No problem, man. I do try, but I'm not going to attempt that one. My accent by itself would ruin that last name, but it looks like a really cool last name. I wish I could say it or knew how to say it. Do you think that Brad Pitt F1 movie will be good? Says Quattro. I hope so. I hope so. I really hope it is good. It's hard to do an F1 movie though, so I hope it's good. I hope it's good, but I'm gonna stay cautiously optimistic. I'm not gonna expect too much from it. I think Days of Thunder 2 happens when Cruise will be playing a Jeff Gordon style character, building up to a Larson type driver. That to me would make the most sense. How was Stroker Ace one of the lowest? It's by far the best NASCAR movie, says Escobar. I don't know. I don't want to affect the poll just yet. But I will. I do still need to answer the Talladega Nights question. I feel like we're close to hour one being done. So I will give my opinion on Talladega Talladega Nights. I do feel like it was basically just making fun of NASCAR fans. So that's where I side with it. If you enjoy the movie, if you thought the movie was fun, that's cool. I don't have a problem with it. But it to me, it was making fun of NASCAR fans. So I wasn't a fan of it from that perspective. But I'm not sitting here and screaming at the top of my lungs that I hate Will Ferrell or anything like that either. It was a funny movie, but it was making fun of NASCAR fans. I'm a NASCAR fan, so obviously I'm going to be more sensitive to it than a normal person would be. But I've got that perspective that I'm going to be more sensitive to it. So I look at it through that vein. But was it a funny movie? It definitely had really funny parts in it. So no doubt about it. So it just is what it is. But it definitely, to me, was making fun of NASCAR fans. And if I had a vote in this deal, I would either vote the Cars movie or Stroker Ace. Those are my two favorites of this list right here. So there you go. I've now influenced the poll. Let's jump back into the comment section here. Let's see. B, I'm sure you already talked about this, but your thoughts on the Priest flip. Got to get rid of the underwing on the car. Just got to get rid of the underbody on the car. That's the problem. And until NASCAR does that, we're going to keep seeing what we saw. Like they can, there's vents and stuff like that you can put in it as well. But until NASCAR does one of those things, you're going to keep seeing what you saw with Ryan Priest. For sure. Must be a lot of young fans in here, says Escobar. Lovey Barkley, what's up? Says Lanes. Can we get that Subaru Baja in the truck series with dual H4s mounted tractor pull style, says Timber Ace. Kenny Wallace called Jeff Gordon a mini-me of Rick Hendrick. Yeah, Kenny Wallace, he's put out the content all season. My man went to Italy and still was putting out videos. So Kenny Wallace, he's a man on a mission. He's going to keep putting out content every day. the man of endless energy, Kenny G Wallace. Let's see. Pins look dominant, and yet Hendrick snakes it again. Penske's look dominant, and once again, Hendrick snakes it away. 5 next year, says Rusty Beechwood. I hope Kyle Larson gets one day. I liked SVG Red Bull logos on the rear wing. Says OJ and toothpaste. Yeah, the Red Bull car, or it wasn't necessarily a Red Bull car, but the little Red Bull logos, they do look really good. When is the storm supposed to roll through? Roughly from I've seen 10 a.m. I've seen lunchtime, so I still got a little bit of time in the morning to get something done if I need to. Last American Hero. Last American Hero is definitely a really good one for sure. I was talking about of the 4 options that I've got right there. Steven, perfect time to remind everyone that William Byron is the youngest 2-time Daytona 500 winner, locked into the playoffs, and has slayed Sir Ryan Blaney's sister. Race cars tend to flip easier when they are bunched in a pack. I did address that too in the video. Those are the 2 big problems: the underbody and the pack racing. So it is what it is. I can't believe the foul-mouthed kid from Six Pack didn't have a longer career. Diane Lane, you weren't surprised, ended up being a star. Says Dirty Death. Yeah, I have to go back and watch that. I wonder how many of those. I wonder how many of those kids actually had an acting career after that movie. Been a while since I've seen this. I had to go re-watch that one again. Max Headroom. The worry I have about the ADD is going crazy today, so I just apologize in advance. It's been going crazy for about a week now, so apologies to everyone I've talked to. The worry I have about the underbody of the car is NASCAR thought it, so they are too stubborn to admit that it was a mistake at super speedways. Yeah, they're dug in about everything about this car, so it is what it is. How about nobody is even talking about the Daytona 500 winner because it was pretty much luck. Definitely didn't take it if you're him, but it is what it is. Definitely you take it if you're him, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's another one of those situations where they talk about everything but the winner, and unfortunately, a lot of NASCAR races recently have kind of been like that. So I don't know. NASCAR doesn't seem to have a problem with it though, because they keep rolling with what they got. Ugliest paint scheme from the Daytona 500, the 100%, says OJ and Toothpaste. I'm with you. I didn't like that car either. Bubba Wallace has a sweet Columbia paint scheme for Atlanta, says Jesse Daly. Columbia always does a good job with the Bubba Wallace cars, so I agree with you there. They haven't had, I can't think of, they've maybe had one bad one, but other than that, they've all been pretty good. Let's see. Best team owner in NASCAR history, Clyde Torkel. Yeah, he's up there. He's up there for sure. He's right below Dennett, I guess. I saw an article that had a rumor of a relationship between William Byron and Sabrina Carpenter. That would be interesting, for sure. For sure. Sabrina Carpenter trending because they've got a picture of her as a brunette, and apparently that's set the world on fire. This is the content you came to the channel for, so we're going to dive into that. Let me pull that link up, displaying. Hamlin had a good point on AD that Byron winning basically bailed out NASCAR, and if Nemechek or someone like that won, people would be outraged. That's a pretty good point. I hadn't heard that yet, so I'll have to go check that out. I didn't see him say that, so I'll have to check out the old actions detrimental there. I've seen I guess some headlines and some what are they called, YouTube shorts. I wanted to say reels, but on YouTube they're shorts. So I've seen some shorts of the clips, I guess I should say. Do you think the Daytona 500 is losing prestige? Yeah, they ruined it when they stopped making speed weeks. Once you took speed weeks away and once you took qualifying mattering away from the Daytona 500, it just doesn't have the same feel to it. Still the biggest race of the season, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have that 90s, 80s. I wasn't around in the 70s, but doesn't have that 90s, 80s feel to it. BB, any thoughts on Honda pickup Ridgeline joining the Craftsman Truck Series? It depends on how they redesign the body. I mean, if Honda wants to join it, obviously that's the cheapest way to get into NASCAR racing. So for sure, I think if Honda decides to race in the Cup Series, they'll also do a truck series team. But you saw they want to talk about redesigning the body. Basically, they're going to make the body a composite. And when they do that, I imagine they'll go to at least an extended, if not a full cab, because that's what you see mostly on the road. And NASCAR manufacturers, OEMs, have been very adamant. They want the cars on the track to look like the cars on the road. So it would logically, to me, make sense. And I'm just spitballing. I don't have any information or anything like that. It would make sense to me that the manufacturers want to have 4-door trucks on the racetrack, because the vast majority of trucks you see on the road are either extended cabs or completely four door at this point with a 6 foot bed that you can't put anything in, and it's very annoying. I own a 6 foot bed. I'm complaining about that because I ran to Lowe's today, and why I ever sold my single cab long bed, I don't know. It was it was freaking stupid. Should have kept it. It is what it is. Live, laugh, learn. Let's see. Did you see Big Bill and Raw with AJ Styles? Pretty cool, says Dirty Diff. So yeah, William Byron, he's making the rounds. So he was on WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw. God, I couldn't think of the word to save my soul. Camera comes on, all knowledge goes out of his head. Lugs Harvey to NASCAR Hall of Fame, says Escobar. Lugs Harvey, Stroker Aces, ace mechanic. I really hope Byron stays away from Sabrina, only because I don't want to hear about it constantly. Oh, dear God. Yeah, good point, Thunderstrikes. Thunderstrikes with a rational take here. Appreciate you, my guy. Like Swift in the NFL, he can stay together with his new Monster Energy model, says Thunderstrikes. Thoughts about NASCAR not wanting to nothing against Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce, but it did get old after like they wore it out like everything in the media. Once they get a hold of it, they really wear it out. Thoughts about NASCAR not wanting to compete with the NFL 1 p.m. start times. Also, NFL is looking on moving President's Day weekend and moving the Daytona date. Says one wise guy. Well, as long as you don't, to me, you could run the Daytona 500 Super Bowl week as long as you don't get weather. It's not going to be an issue. That's a big if, because I feel like people want to watch anything other than like who really watches 12 hours of freaking pre Super Bowl coverage. Everybody wanted a break from it. So I feel like you could have that would almost be a perfect. So them, it wouldn't even be head to head because the race would be over by the time the game started, unless you had weather. But obviously, they're not going to do that. So whatever day the Super Bowl's on, the Daytona race will be after it or whatever. Chevy SSR back in the truck series next year, says OJ and Toothpaste. Those SSRs, you either liked them or you didn't. I thought it was a good race, says Rusty Beechwood. Byron was up there at times with others. 47 wrecked them, but it's racing. I don't understand kids crying on this race, says Rusty. I mean, yeah, I'm not crying on it, but it was just an average Daytona race to me. I didn't think it was any worse or better than any other one. It's just another with this style of drafting, I should say. I don't care. I don't necessarily like this style of drafting, but it's not going anywhere. So it's been as good a race with this package as we've seen. 6 or 7, like it's pretty average, you know. So you're passing the course, but it definitely wasn't the worst one. Definitely wasn't the best one. 100 on speed, says Rusty Beechwood. Guys, relax. Whoever Byron slays next, we can rest assured she will be a smoke show. The 2-time back-to-back Daytona 500 champion has standards. Tweaks in qualifying, says Rusty Beechwood. New tablet, my bad, says Rusty Beechwood. It's all good, my friend. I'm not the best. I'm not the best at typing with my thumbs either. There's always that one truck we wish we never got rid of, says one wise guy. That's definitely going to be mine. That truck right there has been wrecked several times by the previous owner, by the current owner. I'm sorry, and it's still on the road, to my knowledge. NASCAR is begging for the Byron Carpenter relationship. Says they're deaf. The Ridgeline is just wishful thinking. By the way, says Jamie Schweitzer, I'm rooting for 2311 and Front Row to win the lawsuit because I hear NASCAR will disband the charters. So that's a win for the new owners to take part of the sport, says Escobar. They won't get rid of the charters. That's NASCAR posturing. If NASCAR got rid of the charters, every sponsor in the sport would pull out because half of your owners would go do something else. It would be an absolute disaster. And once half the owners left, half your talent would leave, and then a vast majority of your sponsors, you'd basically be in the same situation that the IndyCar kart split was at. Everybody's going to fracture, everybody's going to leave, and some are never going to come back because you've devalued your resource so much. It would be the ultimate poison pill. It would be the ultimate death knell, and NASCAR would still exist. It wouldn't disappear, but it would never be the NASCAR that we enjoy today. So if NASCAR did that, they would essentially be hammering the death nail into their coffin. Now, I don't put anything past NASCAR. I'm just saying it would be super stupid for them to do it, and I don't think they would, but I never underestimate them because every time I think they won't do something, a lot of times they like to show up and say, hold my beer and watch this. What paint scheme was better? Jeff Burton of the 99 Exide Pink versus the Mark Martin number 6 Valvoline. Number 6 Valvoline all day. 99 Exide cars were all awesome. Don't get me wrong, but the Mark Martin number 6 Valvoline, iconic, just iconic to this day. When you say number 6, there's only two cars you think of: Mark Martin Valvoline or Mark Martin Folgers. In the conversation, somebody's going to say Stroh's Light to be different, but you know what I'm saying. You think either Valvoline or you think Folgers, and that's just and that's the bottom line. I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Lovey Barkley, what's up, OJ? What's up, Barkley? Good finish for Legacy, but it's hard to take any of the finishes seriously. Reddick started 16th on the green white checkered and finished in second, says Dirty Death. Yeah, I mean, it's plate racing. This is what NASCAR wants. They want chaos and drama and people talking about it. Here we are talking about it. So you can't necessarily argue with their strategy if we're going to talk about it. So do people like it? I don't think they like it, but they like to talk about the drama. They like to talk about not liking it. So in NASCAR's eyes, to them, it's just as good. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. They like it, and they're going to keep doing it. I asked this already, but I missed your answer. How would you fix the fuel racing? Get rid of the stages, stage brakes. You can keep the stages. Just get rid of the stage brakes. That's the only That's the only way you're going to get rid of the fuel racing. Would you agree with Hamlin that the cars used to look good on TV, but they don't race as well? Says one wise guy. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see the full context of what he's talking about. I mean, if he's talking about the bodies look good, yes, the bodies do look good. They definitely don't race well. I'd have to see the full context if he's talking about every single track, because I feel like at road courses they race way too well. They're too gripped to the track. The tires are too wide. At circle tracks, however, they are not. They're not doing what they should do as far as a circle track race car goes, for various reasons. Denny was cooking with that one, says Lovey Barkley. What do you mean we enjoy today? I really don't enjoy it. I kind of watch it because it's a habit at this point. I think a lot of people are in that boat. Like, we're just watching it just to watch something and hoping one day that it gets sort of back like it was when we liked it. But I don't know if that's just God, man. Because I remember when I was a kid, like the old timers would talk about, "Oh, this ain't shit. This ain't what we were used to watching back in the 70s and 60s. It's just totally different." So is part of it just getting older, like, or is part of it, is it really that bad? So I don't know, man. If you're younger and you don't know any better and you're watching this, maybe you like this. Like, it's all generational, situational. I don't know, man. I don't know. I couldn't answer that one for you. All I can tell you is I liked it better back in the day, but there could be 100 reasons for that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's the most honest answer I can give you as far as that goes. Elton Sawyer said this week that a couple of Cup teams, but I definitely liked it better back in the day. So I will say that. Got caught putting ballast in the driver's drinking system, and they found it. Sounded really bad. There was that one. There was there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Some drivers would carry. There was a back when you could have a cell phone in your pocket before they outlawed that. There was guys that had they had lead cell phones or whatever, so they put those in their pockets. Radios, I've seen lead radios. I've seen one of those. Oh God, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Multiple streaming channels is hard to pay for. It's pointless, says South Dude. It is tough. It is tough. Hopefully one day they get it all condensed into one thing, like you got F1 TV that you can stream and watch wherever. You remember watching Tim Richmond winning races growing up? I don't remember watching him. I was aware of him. My dad's best friend was his tire guy at Hendrick. Billy Chandler. Billy Chandler is his name. So I was aware of him. I had a TG Shepherd Folgers hat that I wore until it fell to pieces. I've got a really old Hendrick hat, one of the original Hendrick Motorsports hats. I got one of those from Billy. So I was aware of him. Obviously, my family pulled for him, but I was so little, like I didn't know what was going on. Little. I was still pulling for Richard Petty. Like, Richard Petty was going to win every race, but I was aware of Tim Richmond. The car, I was aware of the car because I had one of the little die casts. Back in the day, Folgers, if you bought like the big thing of coffee, there was a little race car in there. So I had one of the Tim Richmond die cast. So Yeah, I was aware of him, but I don't remember. I was too little to really remember anything. Let's see. Tim Richmond is still racing in ARCA. LOL. Just kidding, says Escobar. Where does the 1992 Texaco 28 scheme fit in among iconic paint schemes? I mean, I feel like you got to put it top three, in my opinion. Like that paint scheme by itself, if you is the reason a lot of people got into NASCAR. They just thought that car was so cool they wanted to watch it. I hope the WB gets their act together in Xfinity. Spent $30 to get free NASCAR. I love free sports, says Bruce Garvey. There's a clip of Hamlin's comment on his channel. Says one wise guy. I'll have to check it out. I like to see Nickelodeon collab with NASCAR, SpongeBob, and Patrick with Boyer. Well, it'll be interesting to see if NASCAR ever does something like that. I mean, I spent $30 for an antenna, says Bruce Garvey. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping. I'm with you. I'm hoping WB gets their stuff together and fixes all the stuff that's kind of glitching right now. Blockbuster, you get a waiver. You are allowed in the league, but I can't give you your points back. So it is what it is, my friend. When I think of a car, Mark Martin, I think about Viagra car. LOL, says Joseph Wooten. So, but if you want to join the league, let's see here. Here you go. Join up, join in, jump in there, my brother. There's the link right there. Join in. I can't give you your points back, but you're definitely welcome to come race against us. Let's see. When I think of Mark Martin, I think of the Viagra car. A lot of people do. That was another car that brought a lot of people to the sport for different reasons. Denny was basically saying that the super speedways, they run three wide, but not a lot of it is real because they're saving fuel. Agree with that. Nobody's actually trying, so it looks like they're doing something, says Lovey Barkley. Yeah, and then at the end of the race, they go and wreck each other because they haven't really been testing the car all day. So it just compounds itself. Eldon Sawyer said that some of the teams were getting hit with stiff penalties this week for doing that. Cody Ware, and I can't remember the other car that got busted. Good. They need to crack down on them. What's the most innovated, cheated up cars you've personally seen at the racetrack? I'll tell you when I retire. One wise guy. Grease Lightning was a good movie for the era. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Grease Lightning, because with the ED, that's the Richard Pryor movie. Okay, so yeah, the Richard Pryor movie, really good movie. Good call there, Danny from the beer store. Grease Lightning, the musical, also a good movie, but not necessarily NASCAR related. Back of the Bus, Blockbuster, says one wise guy. Any thought on Chevy will run next year? Will it be Chevy or Caddy? It's going to be Chevrolet, Escobar. The old Folgers metal cans, everybody would use them to hold nails and screws in the shed after you were done with them. We used them to, after you put the rings in the piston, we used them to dip them in oil before you slid them up into the engine block. That was another use for them. So they were all kinds of handy back when they were made out of metal. Of course, if you watched The Big Lebowski, they used them to spread the ashes of Donnie after they went to the Ralphs because they weren't paying for that most modestly priced urn. Let's see. F1 team is being built on the new F1 team being built on the Hendrick Motorsport campus, says Escobar. Kind of rude. I deserve a waiver. I never sent the link. I did send the link. So hold on. Since we're not going to let go of this, let's see here. There you go. That was the post I made. The link was in it. I did put it out there. There we go. I have checked out the DBC this season. Weird without Brett and TJ, but the voicemail segment is hilarious, says Dirty Def. LOL deal, says one wise guy. Peace out, says Dirty Def. If you missed fantasy for Daytona, don't worry. It's a long season and a crapshoot. The race is a race since you Don't want to miss join up. You have plenty of time to get the lead. I agree. Nobody is out there super far just yet. Denny Hamlin also spit some bars on how he spent his whole career trying to drive like Dale and Petty just for it to all be invalidated by the current car and style of driving. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. This is our most modestly priced receptacle. Let's see. Have we decided that BB will meet with Elton Sawyer and demand NASCAR do away with stage cautions while awarding stage points at the customary stage end laps? I'd love to meet with Elton Sawyer and tell him what I think about the deal, and so Elton Sawyer could be like, "Oh, that's great," and ignore me and continue doing what they're doing. So they don't care what I say, man. Not really. Like they might not like what I say, but they don't care what I say to actually do anything. So it is what it is. That's the way it is. Thank you. I will now enter. I've been waiting, says Blockbuster. So there you go. There was what I put out there. I did try to get everybody involved in it. Didn't do the greatest job, but we'll do a better job next year. But it is what it is, and we'll be glad to have you in there, Blockbuster. And good luck to you. If we could award you some type of points, we would. But it is what it is. It's fantasy. It's beyond our control as far as that aspect of it goes. I think. I think. So we'll see. But good luck to you. You got plenty of time. Plenty of time to make up all the points. All right. Looks like we've reached the end of it here. Final results of the poll question. Days of Thunder, 50%. Beating Cars won the movie. Wow. Talladega Nights also beating Cars won the movie. 50% for Days of Thunder, 19% for Talladega Nights, 20% for Stroker Ace. So Stroker Ace finished second. Cars movie number one, finishing last. Did not have that on my bingo card, but it is what it is. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you guys on the next one. It's been fun as always. Peace.